All right. Northern Iowa coach Doug Schwab here in Lincoln at the World Team Trials. The big news in the last couple weeks for the Panthers on the move to the Big 12. What went into the decision to jump out of the MAC and join the Big 12 as an affiliate?
A lot of things. I mean, it's not just one thing. I think you look at a 20-year, 10-year picture, not just the next season, what's going to be best for you, but overall for the program, and sit down and talk with administration and just feel like it was the best move for one competition-wise. I mean, kids know Big 12. I mean, from a recruiting standpoint, and just we want to be more ready for March. You want to be able to put more points on the board then and have more opportunities to, I guess, to wrestle in big environments. We get to go down to Gallagher-Iba Arena this year. So I mean, those are type of things that you can't duplicate, and it gets your guys. I talk with my team too, and they all wanted. They're like, yeah, man, let's go. And not that there is anything wrong with the MAC. I mean, but I think even just perception is the Big 12 it's a jump, and the Big 12's got some work to do. I mean, if you look at what happened last year, but with South Dakota State's coming on, with what's happened at Iowa State, that program apparently what it's been, or what Oklahoma's been, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. It's gonna prepare us, I guess, more for the national tournament, and that's really ultimately what we looked at, that we need to put ourselves in that spot.
Let's rewind a little bit. Under your watch, you guys joined the MAC, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you went from the Western Regional to the MAC. What did the MAC do for you, in your opinion?
I think it was an upgrade of competition too. A team like Missouri, you started to create a rivalry. I think that's really important. That's one thing I like about the Big 12 too, having Iowa State in there. Having an in-state rival that I think that adds fuel to that fire. And we were looking at it at the time, and you start looking at number of qualifiers and those things, but just it ups us. And Troy, the old AD, I think he was kind of looking at maybe we'll make a move in some other, maybe some other sports too. There's no traction to that, but I'm just saying, I think that, hey, we'll get there in the door. We'll be able to have our team, I guess, more prepared, and it'll be a jump up in level from what the Western Wrestling Conference was, and when Missouri and us and Old Dominion came in, obviously that did help it. Missouri's a really good team, and hopefully we'll keep that rivalry going. I think we'll keep them in a dual meet, and we look forward to doing that.
How long's this been in your head? I
mean, again, Troy approached the Big 12, 5 years ago when we were talking about moving to the MAC, and they weren't really ready to take any affiliates on, but then they got to the point where, hey, we need to have some more people because we got to have a conference tournament. We don't get an automatic call. All those things kind of went into it. But if you want to have something, to me, you want to rival the Big Ten as much as possible. And you can look at that both ways. I talked to some other coaches like, well, that beats us up. But I think that the more that you're in big time matches, the more you're prepared for them. The more that you can kind of go through that grind and have a high level where you have to be out there. It helps raise your level. So, and I think it's better for us and than the Big 12. John Smith, I think, drives a lot of that. Obviously they've had a ton of success there, but he wanted us in there, and so we wanted to be in there, and we're in there. And I think with Fresno coming in, there'll be 12 teams, so it'll be a true Big 12 conference again.
Yeah, pretty interesting. A couple years ago, it's 4 teams, and and now all of a sudden up to 12. And you mentioned Iowa State, Oklahoma, South Dakota State. Lots of exciting stuff happening. You're going to get probably travel coast to coast at some point with West Virginia on one side and Fresno on the other.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, you look at that geographically. That's that's from one end to the other. But I'm sure they'll make it manageable for us. But for us, then we get to go out to California. Though we've had a few California kids on our team. We get to actually go out and compete out there. I think it's good for any time that we can get into some other areas and have some other people see how we compete, and see UNI and get to know that they're, obviously part of the Big 12, but we're not just going to be part of it though. We want to obviously, make some noise in that conference, and I guess I look forward to it. Like, it hasn't been a whole big secret, I think it's been out there for a little bit, but now things are becoming official, and it's good for us. It's been a struggle, I guess, scheduling right now. So we won't we won't have a full schedule, but do you have to have 16 dates? I think sometimes we get caught into you have to do things like they've always been done. We're gonna be battle tested. We'll get to a couple big tournaments. We're going to the Virginia Duels. We'll go down to Oklahoma State. We'd like to get a few other Big 12 teams on right now, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'd like to get some Big 10 teams on. I mean, I'll start asking coaches that are walking by me because we want to go wrestle and wrestle in the best environments and wrestle the best teams and have our team prepared. And I the Big 12 is definitely going to do that. And I think the Big 12, some teams are excited, some aren't, but man, you better embrace it and just work on getting better. And let's go score a whole bunch of points at the national tournament as a group.
You mentioned the scheduling difficulties, and you said you're going down to Gallagher, Iowa.
Yeah.
Obviously, the series with Iowa State will continue.
Yep.
Who else do you have on the schedule for next year in the Big 12?
I don't know if they want me to tell you. It's like they try to make like a big reveal, But right now, in teams that we've wrestled before, SDSU and NDSU, we're have them back on the schedule. I know SDSU has their schedule out. I think we'll be up there January 21st, and they've created a good environment too. We look forward to going competing up there. It'll be a fun. Seeing what they've done with it, I think similar to hopefully teams look forward to coming, to the West Gym just because of the environment. You have a we've all been at when there's 50 people in the stand. That's no fun. You want to go to a place where the people are excited about the sport and they support it and they're into the matches. And some of these places that we're going to get to go are going to be able to do that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if other coaches listen to other coaches talk, but we'll put anybody on. Let's wrestle. We got some dates open.
So you got some good young guys coming back: Steyert, Max Thompson,
Yep.
Foster, Holschlag. Keep going down the list.
Yeah, Isley wrestled today.
What have you seen from him since the end of the season?
There's growth from the guys are really taking over, and the athletes are taking over the team, and in a good way. It can't be coach driven. I think once it's coach driven, there's a cap on that. So some guys are really, hey man, I really want to make this my team. You kind of mentioned a guy like Max Thompson in how he trains and how he lives. I mean, he's a great example for our guys. A guy like Albert. Does a great job leading our team, and the other guys that you mentioned, but other guys are starting to get on board. You have a freshman. I think you have a freshman that places that's good for everyone else. You don't have to wait to do it. And you got a guy like Foster who he's not a blue chip guy coming out. On paper, not a blue chip guy, and he had a losing record the year before. And now he's an All-American, and coming to season, I was just talking. They were having the All-Star duel. And the coach is talking to me, maybe depending on if this guy, because he's probably going to be ranked top 3 in the country coming in, so those are exciting things. I'll always want a little bit more. We got a guy like Lujan you didn't even talk about, who's one of to me the funnest guys to watch compete. It's just guys really believing that they're good, and that's what we're truly trying to get through to guys is you guys are there right now. You don't always have to have a win to solidify that. Like we're telling you, we see it, and sometimes they need that. Like Carter beat a couple good guys today. Is he capable of more? 100%. And that's just getting a guy to believe that they're capable of more and pulling that trigger more. And because if you're trying to chase down some of those top teams, you better go score points. You can't just stand around and hope that hope the coin flip goes our way. In a way and that's the way we're trying to get our guys to compete. And it starts in the practice room. It starts how they live. It starts with really believing in what they're doing and what we're doing and how we're building them. But it's starting to be more of a driven thing from each other and not the coaches. You've been around sports enough, that the team really has to make it their thing. I like the culture where we're at. I like the young guys. I like the group that we're bringing in, even though it's not a blue chip. I don't think we've been in the top 25 in any recruiting classes. I guess it's more important where these guys end up. Let's see where that class ends up 5 years from now. That's to me what's more important. But time to make progress. I tell you, the summer months are the time to make a big jump, and our guys are in the midst of doing it right now. Sometimes you don't feel it when it's happening. You look back and you're like, okay, you covered the ground. So we're just trying to get them. I guess I'm talking a lot, talking in circles a little bit, but guys trying to really get them to believe in themselves. I just don't think that happens overnight. I mean, it's a continued day by day effort and stringing those things together, and guys are stringing the things together, and I guess I'm excited about where we're at. I think you talk about our lineup. If you're a UNI wrestling fan, and you're not excited about what we have coming back and what we're bringing in, then I better come shake you a little bit, or I won't slap you because I'd probably get in trouble. But I think it's a good time to be involved in UNI wrestling and look forward to the season.
We're talking about changes going on in your program, changes in your life too.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a wild off season.
Yeah, a little bit. Just had twin girls. Actually, they're 4 weeks old today. Jenna and Lennon, and they always say girls will soften you up a little bit.
Has it happened?
It hasn't happened yet. No. My wife might differ a little bit, but I always tell you, and when you have a kid, it is. You realize that it's instantaneous. Just you'll do anything for them. You'll lay down your life for them, and I don't think until you have a kid you can really understand that. And it's different for me. My boys are 8 and 9, so maybe hadn't planned on having any, but having a couple girls and I guess just having everything go good. They're healthy right now. They're at home. They're in the hospital for a few weeks, but there's been no complications. And my wife's awesome. She supports the hell out of me. I'm here right now. I probably should be home, but she's like, no, you need to go be there. That's important. That's your job, and she gets it. So I don't know. We got a couple new cheerleaders, so it'll be good.